Welcome to Politics Done Right. My name is Egberto Willies, your host. Good morning, Houston. Good morning, Harris County. Good morning to the great state of Texas. And of course, good morning to the United States of America. Good morning to every single corner. Northeast Texas, Southeast Texas, Northwest Louisiana, Southwest Louisiana, who has access to the internet. But of course, they get our 100,000 watt transmitter through that FM signal. And of course, the internet brings us the world. And yes, folks, we talk to the world. We speak and interact with the world. Anyhow, we are going to have a great program today. As usual, we have a whole lot of topics to cover. We probably won't get there, and you know how to get the rest. But folks, I want you to stick around. A lot of folks know that for the next few couple of weeks or more weeks or so, we're going to be in that fancy thing called fund drive that I hate, that most of us hate. But you know what we do here? We make sure to give you a program along with it. So stick around. Do not disappear because we want to hear from you. We want to talk to you. So please remember, stick around. We got a lot to talk to. We have some important subjects specifically today. But before, let's go ahead and go to our fantastic geniuses in the studio at Caroline.
Oh, I don't think everybody hates Fun Drive. There's some people who probably like it. I don't know who, but
I'm trying to figure that out.
Yeah, it wouldn't be you or I. But Jack, I think he likes Fun Drive.
Yeah, I like Fun Drive.
Yeah, he's a funny guy.
I cheer when people make their goals. You know, I sit there and I go, wow, man, they made it. Good deal. KPFT.
We're gonna make this one too, because we always do. There is just such a love from the community for us to support us. It's phenomenal. I've worked in a lot of radio stations. I've never seen one like this one, in good ways and in other ways. But the love that everyone shows this radio station is just phenomenal. They talk about it. You have people calling in on your show saying, yes, we support KPFT and you should too, which is pretty darn amazing. And speaking of supporting KPFT, our interim general manager here has got his tin cans and string holding up. So let's go ahead and throw it to him.
No, wait. Before you go to Sandy,
okay.
I want to say one thing before this. Think about this.
Sure.
Think about this. How damn long have we been saying interim manager? Man, how long? Tell me, how long?
For as long as he wants us to say it. I said, when are you going to drop the interim? He goes, never. It's okay.
You know,
well, all right.
I think before Sandy starts doing any kind of pitch, I think we need for him to justify interim over several years, right? Don't you think?
We're all interim is what he'll tell you.
We are all interim.
Yeah, I already know what his answer is. We are all interim.
That sounds like Sandy, man. Hey, General Manager Sandy, how you doing, brother?
Interim general manager. I'm doing okay on this fine Wednesday morning. I hope you are too. We're still in Fun Drive. And by the way, I don't get to name myself general manager. That comes from others, namely my boss, the executive director of Pacifica, Miss Stephanie Wells, who is doing a fantastic job. And I'm not just kissing anybody's. It's a matter of steering this ship, and this ship is hard to steer.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the toughest gig in the United States, in the world, is ED of Pacifica. Tough job, really tough. Anyway, it's my honor to be interim general manager. We've come a long way since July 22 when I started. And hey, we can take another step forward today in terms of funding this little old experiment in the heart of Houston, KPFT, commercial free and listener sponsored since March 1st, 1970. Long time to go without a commercial dollar. With very little in the way of underwriting or grant money, it all or mostly comes from our listeners during fund drives, just like right now. And let me start the day by saying that already 307 contributions have been made that have totaled $51,675. Dollars, this is day number 7 of our pen drive, meaning this after today we will have completed 1 full week, and we're a little over a third of the way there, which is about the right pace that we need to be on, but we need to maintain that pace. So today, Wednesday, middle of the week, before we get to the second week of drive, if you've yet to donate, this will be a great time to do it, and I'll give you the reason why. The reason why is that if you're a ticket fan, I just got this morning when I opened up my email a brand new list of remaining tickets that has been actually expanded over what it was, because now the Do-Si-Do Big Barn, the Do-Si-Do Breakfast Barbecue and Whiskey Bar have chimed in with tickets that you can obtain. Dinner and a show. Yuli John Roth has been added. That's the gentleman from the Scorpions. Tab Benoit, 2 pair of tickets. The Bodines have been added, 2 pair of tickets. And Ricky Skaggs, 2 pair of tickets. Dinner and a show at the Do-Si-Do. We've got other Do-Si-Do tickets that I won't go into right now, but be aware that if you're into the Do-Si-Do, which is a great place to go see a show, and you want dinner with that thank you gift, this is how you get it. May 30th is Tab Benoit, the Bodines June 30th, Ricky Skaggs in October the 26th, and Yuli John Roth right around the corner this coming Saturday, if you'd like to go see that show. 713-526-5738, option 1, or kpft.org is our phone number. We have a $300 goal for this program, and we'd like to get it started. With your contribution, you can be first on Wednesday, May 15th, to support your community radio station. We know what that is, KPFT. Egberto.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Sandy, and thank you for all that you do. Yes, it's running a station like KPFT is tough because again, this is a community radio station, which means we represent the entire community. Trying to put a whole different cats into one area is not an easy task. It's a very difficult thing to do. And you know what? The guy gets it done. I mean, good job, Sandy. Anyway, folks, the title of today's show is called "We Can Print Money Responsibly for the Progressive Agenda," as well as GMO Corn Fight with Mexico. We can fulfill the progressive agenda by printing money responsibly, folks. And I know that sounds odd, but it is true. Also, the US gets it wrong regarding trade rules on food safety and GMO corn. That is genetically modified. That's what it stands for, genetically modified organism. Okay, GMO. I think it's organism. I think that's what it is. I think that's what they always. If I'm wrong, just call me up and let me know. Anyway, folks, so we start here. The progressive agenda. There are a lot of people that speak up
Hey,
against progressive
hey,
agenda.
Egberto.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you forgot me.
Oh my God! You see, Sandy, I'm gonna blame. Can I blame Sandy? I'm gonna
Sure
blame
you can.
Sandy for kind of
He's the
messing with the
GM.
flow.
You can blame him
Let's
with
blame
everything.
that guy that likes to call himself the interim manager. Jack, I do apologize. I feel it in the heart. Folks,
No
here
problem.
is Brother
It's
Jack
on
Van
your heart.
Beber with the word of the day.
And it goes along with your GMO story. Mother Nature versus Big Ag. Seeds are the hope for tomorrow's abundance. Mother Nature's design makes seeds resilient and versatile. Big Ag seeds are designed to grow big, but not necessarily nutritious. And they're secretly made to be patented so Big Ag can own the seed that Mother Nature gives to us freely.
Oh, I love that. And because you see, look, every time you do it, okay, you did it again. I was going to start with we can print money, but I'm going to start with GMO now. Ah, because you know what? You make it sound so poetically sweet, as true as
Well,
it is.
that's good. Yeah, all right.
Okay, let's get busy with GMO, folks. All right. Um, Back early several years ago, and I swear this is not a plug. I'm just saying this because this is how I came to it. I was writing a book called As I See It, Class Warfare, the Only Resort to Right-Wing Doom. And I had to do a whole lot of research on economics and patenting and all that sort of stuff. And I ran across how patents work in these fields. And then realized that we had companies like Monsanto that were creating designer seeds and all these sort of things. And there are different options that they had. They had things like ways to turn seeds on and off. In other words, seeds that you plant, it grows one time. After it grows, you have to go to the ADM or Monsanto or whatever to get your seeds, right? Because they've finally put capitalism into seeds. So what we have here is that one company would control the seeds for a particular brand of crop. And when that farmer uses that seed, it turns off. But I want to let you know that I think there are now restrictions on how you can set the seeds to turn off and on and that kind of stuff now. The technology is there. I'm not sure if it's legal. I haven't done any new research on it lately. But anyway, that was the intent, turning seeds on and off so that you have to go to the people who know how to breed the turned on seeds that can grow one time and put it in the field. All right. Well, these companies patented all of that. And in the process of patenting all of that, they've patented these things for several reasons. They've created seeds that resist certain types of herbicides, which mean as opposed to having to spot check herbicides, you could go from airplanes and just spray the entire crop. And for anything but that crop, the herbicide kills, right? Great for farming, right? High-tech farming, man. You can throw some chemicals down. The plant continues to grow because it has a gene that is resistant to that particular herbicide, and everything around it dies. You don't need a lot of people to go out there and weed your plants or anything like that. I mean, all these great technologies, right? But also, to use these things, they force farmers to have to go ahead and buy the seeds. In the case of corn, they have to go to the manufacturer or the person who designed that seed and buy it every single time. A farmer can't have his thousands of acres of corn, save a few acres for seed, and replant it. He couldn't do that. And then you'd have trucks rolling around our farmlands. And as they go around our farmlands, they'll steal crop from the field. They don't go ahead and buy it in the store when that company sells it. They steal it out of the field. They go ahead and do a genetic test on it. And if they find that that genetic test comes back positive with their gene, they would go to the farmer and say, pay up or I'll take you to court. All right. Now, interestingly, the one thing these guys can't control are bees and the wind. And the other thing they can't control is the totality of life. So what would happen is pollen would blow from a farmer's field who decided to have a genetically modified product, whether that be corn or something else. And that pollen would be carried by bees or the air to that other farmer's land. And then that farmer next year's crop or even this year's crop would have the gene from the other farm. And what happens then? You're taken to, the Monsanto or ADM or whatever the company is goes ahead and they go off to the farmer and say, okay, pay up. And the farmer says, I'm not paying you anything. I grow my own corn and I plant it every year. And of course, now that he has polluted corn, the next year that he plants corn, it has the Monsanto or the gene inside of it. And Monsanto is going to say, pay up, you're using our technology that we have patented. One of the reasons in the book I spoke about patents being the one of the most evil parts of capitalism is that it restricts people from doing things to move us forward under the pretext that we want to protect an inventor from, protect an inventor from, competition because he needs to recover his costs. Otherwise, inventions wouldn't occur. Of course, we've lived millennia without patents, but of course, again, when you're creating an economic system like capitalism or something, uh, the people who design it, they design it for a particular group of people so that they have the advantage more than opportunity costs, but the advantage and much more. So going back to the seeds, these guys go ahead now and sue the farmer. And we have several cases both in Canada and the United States. The one thing about it is every single time, or just about every single time, the farmer loses in court because we have a court system that really protects the corporatocracy and they have the patent law behind them. Or if the seed company believes that the farmer may have a case, they just drag it out, and eventually the farmer simply has to acquiesce and say, you know what, I bug out. I can't afford to fight these big food companies. But you know who can? Countries can. Countries can definitely fight these companies. And that's what Mexico is doing about genetically modified corn. And right now in Mexico, under the UMCA's new treaty, which is the subsequent treaty to I think what used to be called NAFTA, they decided to challenge. They don't want this genetically modified corn in their field. They don't want genetically modified masa. And Mexico is a country of masa. The masa for your corn, the masa for your bollo, the masa for all these things. And they want to have their regular, good old corn that for those who believe in God, that God gave us. For those who just believe a nature thing, that nature gave us. So America is suing Mexico because Mexico refuses to accept the GMO corn. Mexico says, number one, we don't like the the herbicides that you have to use because that herbicide can make you sick. Likewise, we just don't know the complete effects of food designed by you into the stomach of our Mexican people. There may be something to that. I don't know if you notice how more so than ever, people have been having gastric issues in the United States. So, what do we do in the United States? We give you genetically modified food. Some believe that genetically modified food has messed with our entire gastric system, digestive system. And to solve that problem that it causes, what have we done? We've then created yet another industry of medicines to hide those gastric and digestive problems, and on and on and on and on again. So the United States have sued Mexico in international courts, and they think America, we think we have a case, but the truth of the matter is, after this article that I posted in the newsletter, law is not on the U.S. side in the GMO corn fight with Mexico. That probably is going to be short-lived, but I think it's deeper than that. I think here in America, we have to start looking into ourselves, America proper, the people itself. Because what we do as corporations are doing what they're supposed to do under capitalism. The maximization of resources at all costs, right? Capitalism usually defined as the efficient allocation of resources. Amazing. Because notice it talks about the efficient allocation of resources. Nowhere does humanity come into play. Nowhere does humanity come into play. And When you have the maximization of resources, when you have genetically modified seeds that resist herbicides, so you change the gene so that you can efficiently move that crop, whether it be corn or some other, whether it is oranges or some other. Think about who benefits. And by the way, in their graded communities, those plutocrats can grow their own not genetically modified food. They can grow their not genetically modified animals that they want to serve as they make our food system efficient with serving junk. Now, is that what we want? Is that what it's supposed to be? That's your choice. All right, folks, that's the first topic that I got through, and guess I did it in 10 minutes. That's not too bad. Anyway, if you have any questions about that, want to talk about that, want to mention about that, give us a call at 713-526-5738. Again, that number is 713-526-5738. Extension number 2 to speak to me or speak to our team. But here, before we get there and before we get to Harry, I need to do our pitch. I said we promised that we would continue to have a show as we pitch, not just be bugging you about giving money 100%, but also giving you a show worth a show, a program worth a program. But we do need to raise our funds to run the station. So I want to ask you so kindly to take this break that I'm taking between now and the other topic, or maybe the continuation of the topic, depending on the phone calls, or another topic, depending on the phone calls. I'd like you to call 713. I'm asking you to call 713-526-5738, extension number 1. And please support the station. Right now, the type of support we want, any type of support you want to give us, a one-time contribution, or a subscriber base type contribution. Sustaining is what we call it. But right now we are really asking folks, if at all possible, to become sustainers. And how does that work? $5 a month makes you a sustainer. And that is less than a coffee at Starbucks a month. We ask for a program that gives you this kind of info. We ask that you support us at least at $5. I mean, again, we'll accept anything, but a sustainer at $5 a month is much appreciated. $10 a month, we appreciate them all, but $10 a month if you can, even better. As I do this show, this program 5 days a week, I'm also a $10 a month supporter of this show, this station actually, and I've been doing that for years. So I'm asking you to please don't wait till the end of the show. I want to thank you right now. Please give us a call at 713-526-5738, extension number 1. $5 a month is a sustainer that's going to be matched, and Sandy will explain that in a little bit. $10 a month, $15 a month. If you go for $25 a month, there's a brick that we'll put with a name and your insignia, at 4x8 brick, on our Walk of Fame here at the studio at Caroline. If you give $50 a month, that is an 8x8 brick on our Walk of Fame or Wall of Fame, wherever we put that rock. Our t-shirt, the Politics Done Right t-shirt, is a $120 contribution. Beautiful black t-shirt, blue letters, and our KPFT logo. And again, one other thing is coffee with Egberto. I would love to sit down and talk to you, however long we sit down and chat, talk topics, things that you want to talk about, things that you want to hear us talk about. That's a $250 contribution. Just go to kpft.org and select Politics Done Right as the show you're supporting, and pick any one of these things, whether it's a sustainer, a one-time contribution, or otherwise. Let me tell you, every night before the show, the thing on my mind is, what can I speak about that will help increase what we all know and move us forward, make us better voters, make us better citizens? It's a lot of work, it's a lot of consistency, and it's a consistency that you can make better by being supporters of this station by calling 713-526-5738, extension number 1. Want to go one other thing before I go to Sandy. We all have, and many of you will think this is repetitious. It is, but many newcomers haven't heard it yet. All of us have, or most of us have, a cable bill. We pay $100 a month. Even if you get YouTube TV, it's $79 a month. You also pay, some of you, $200 a month. And that is a one-directional communication to you. Corporate America tells me what to put on, or tells these companies what to put on air, and that's what you see. And therefore, your knowledge is restricted to only what is allowed or what these guys can put on TV, because they don't want their commercials cut, their ads budgets cut. So they will make sure and restrict what you can hear and what you cannot hear. On the next subject, I'm going to talk about money. And it's something that you will not and cannot hear on mainstream media in the aggregate, but we're going to talk about it. But folks, if you can give $100 a month, $200 a month for a place that you don't have agency in, for a place that you cannot have talk and say the things that you want to hear, the things that you want us to talk about, for $5 a month, $10 a month, $15 a month, you have agency here. You can call in and you can make the world hear what you have to say. So please give us a call, like right now, if you at all can, have the wherewithal to do so. 713-526-5738, extension number 1. And without further ado, let's go to our general manager, El Señor Sandy.
Interim general manager. 713-526-5738. You turned the radio on this morning and there was Egberto, and here I am too. How is that possible? I mean, after all, we began in 1970, and all that time, there's been no commercial sponsorships of KPFT. None. Zero. And there won't be. Yes, we take some underwriting, but you turned it on this morning, and here we are. This began in 1970. Under that model. Let's think, 54 plus years of people giving money, so that today, when you got up, turned your radio on, here we are. In order for this station to be here tomorrow and for the next generation of listeners and hopefully generations to come, today is when we need to fund the station. Well, we're still looking for that very first pledge. We have a $300 goal on this program. That means 3 of you getting a Politics Done Right t-shirt, flying the flag, wearing something cool will satisfy that goal. That's it. 3 of you. And there are thousands listening right now. Maybe you're on your way to work. Maybe you're just getting up and push brew on the coffee pot. Maybe you're getting ready to do your morning workout. Whatever it is you're getting ready to do, please get ready to fund KPFT as well, because without you, we wouldn't be here. It's that simple. It's that simple. So what we're asking for on this fund drive is $150,000, $5 a month at a time from individuals is the way we'd like to accomplish it. Takes a lot of people to do that. Means many of the community has to get energized and realize that without them, without you taking that step, no KPFT. What you don't want to do is turn on the radio and not hear KPFT and maybe tune to a different station where they have news, local news or something, and you hear, well, community radio and KPFT, after 54 and a half years of operation in Houston, is pulling out. Can't afford it no more. This is a $52,000 a month proposition, which is very inexpensive for a 100,000 watt FM broadcast entity anywhere. And the way we've done that is to cut it to one full-time employee and a whole lot of volunteers, like myself, interim general manager volunteer, like Egberto, who's on the national board, does a tremendous amount of for Pacifica, for KPFT, for you. Jack Van Bedber down in the studio, volunteer. Howard, the single paid employee. And if we were to disclose to you what he made relative to the market, we would be all embarrassed because it's not nearly enough. People are working very hard to keep the station on the air, and all we're asking of you is a call to 713-526-5738, option 1, or a mouse click on the donate button at kpft.org and give up a few dollars. If you don't want to be a sustainer, it's too big a commitment to say, I'm just going to keep giving you money, even if it's $5 a month. Make a one-time pledge. You can get a KPFT embroidered hat for $150. We have hoodies, albeit we're in the 90-degree weather, but if you go into the beach or you're getting ready to travel somewhere where it might be a little cooler, great piece of apparel to snag right now and get prepared. 713-526-5738, option 1, or kpft.org. Let us be the first to thank you on this Wednesday morning. And it's so important that we make the goal on this show and every show that we run. 713-526-5738, Egberto.
Thank you very much for that. Thank you very much for that. Folks, we have a lot to offer. Let me see, first of all, I want to get back to my text here to make sure that I am what we call in Panama, en la ola. That means I am not missing anything. Let's go ahead and get to Brother Harry, who's been waiting for some time, and then we'll continue. Brother Harry, how are you doing, my dear friend? My dear brother, talk to me.
Hola, hola. My brother's, well, he's still having problems with his tummy. He wasn't feeling well yesterday. I was praying for him in my recharge the week on last night, and we'll just pray and hope that he gets better. Good morning, Sandy. Good morning, Jack, and good morning, Howard. And I'll start with KPFT. If there are any, and I mentioned this to Sandy in the food drive we had that preceded this one. Sorry, I said food. I meant the fund drive. If there are any companies out there, please contact KPFT and talk to interim manager Sandy Wyman, so KPFT can be funded, and then they don't have, then this can be a thing in the rearview mirror, having to ask the callers for money to keep KPFT going. KPFT has a very good format with their programs, Politics Done Right, You Talk, some of the other programs, the music that they play. So any companies, corporate companies out there, please call KPFT, get asked to speak to Sandy Wyman, and hopefully they can get a contract where the company will spend some money to keep KPFT funded. Okay.
Thank you.
As far as the GMOs, yes, you're welcome. As far as the GMOs, we got to get progressive politicians elected that care about the farmer's position. So when they go to court and they have disagreements with these corporate GMOs, then if they can get the laws changed, that will help the farmers' points of view and strengthen the farmer to have a chance to win some of these cases. Now I'll get to what I really called about. And I'm concerned, and I know, Egberto, you have mentioned this in the past. Don't be afraid. We have to just go and do our job as a citizen of the United States. But Joe Biden is having trouble in these battleground states, and it's basically what Arnie Arneson, Tom Hartman, other people have talked about. People are not, even though the economy is doing okay, a lot of people are not feeling it. And so they're frustrated. And these MAGA people like Joe, for example, it doesn't matter many of them doesn't matter what, I heard somebody on NPR talking about it doesn't matter how, when you talk to these people, they're in denial about Donald Trump, and they just don't see Trump for what he is. and it's really a shame and sad that they're going to vote for him. My friend in Florida, who I told you about, it doesn't. He just told me a few weeks ago. I haven't talked to him in several weeks. He says, "Harry, you're wasting your time talking to me about Donald Trump. I don't believe all those things. All he does is regurgitate what Joe did to Howard last week on Utah when he was sitting in for Steve. That make America great again. I call it make America hate again. And when I was gonna,
Let me pause you there because
go
let me
ahead.
pause you because we have some time issues here and pitching issues, but I want to address that because I think I continue to believe in us as Americans, okay? And if
Yep,
if we're going to go out there and try to, I don't want folks to go out there and hate Trump. I think Trump is one of the most dangerous persons there are on the planet. I
yep,
really do because he doesn't have a soul as far as, but that's and all those people that are voting for him will vote for him, uh, and they know it. They know who he is, and that's why the narrative of trying to say how bad Trump is isn't the narrative to get your vote. The narrative to get your vote
right.
are twofold, in my opinion. Number one, to let folks know you're listening to them. In other words, you're not trying to tell them how stupid they are for voting for Trump because we've done a whole lot of stupid things in our existence before. But you have to let them know that they will be better off and why, not because of Trump or otherwise. But the other thing is Trump is playing a dual role. I don't know if you understand what Trump is doing, let's say with the black community and the tribulations he's going
Yeah.
through right now. He's making himself look like this is what an unjust justice system does to you. And for a lot of black men who the justice system is really unjust, they feel like sticking it to the man by supporting a Trump. It's a crazy way of thinking, but you have to get
It is.
into their psyche and get into the way they are feeling. And for white America now, so that's the magic he does with black men. The magic he does with
Yeah.
white America is to make white America believe they're losing something really they never had. But he is telling them that the reason they've never had it or don't have it, is because of those others, right? So the thing about it is for us to not it is amazing what carnality can do to a society, right? It's for us to get beyond that.
Right.
That's why I engage everybody. That's why, even those who think that they hate you, I engage because that's the only, this is going to sound corny, okay? But I mean it. The only solution to Donald Trump is love. And I'm not a church going guy. I'm not
Uh,
any of that. But I'm serious about that. If you watch how you interact with people, just because it's like, oh, I didn't know, I thought, I've seen this and experienced this right here in Kingwood, in a Starbucks, in all these other places, and that's the reason why. Well, I'm not going to
mhm.
plug that, but so that's what I'm saying. So Harry, here's the deal. Again, I got to go to Lynette, but here's what I want to tell you.
Right.
Let's remove the fear and let's go ahead and do. Go ahead, including when we talk to people, let's go ahead and make it be known. Look, there's some people that tell me I am voting for Trump. And I said, look, you may not see things my way right now, but I want to ask you to do me a favor. Do you know me? Yes. Do you like me? Yes. Do you have trust in the things I normally say? Yes. I want to ask you to go against something that you innately want to do right now, which is vote for Trump. And I want you to do something for me. Those are the kinds of things that you have to do with, because again, I can talk to anybody. You can talk to anybody, but it's what the vibe is going to be that you deal with. But look, Harry, I got to go, but thank you for
Can I
calling.
say one more thing before
Yeah,
you let
real
me
quick,
go?
real quick,
Yeah, real
real
quick.
quick, real
Okay.
quick.
And I've said this on this program and on Steve's program when we talk about Donald Trump. Unless you are a plutocrat, oligarch, multimillionaire, or billionaire, then it makes sense to vote for Trump because the Trump tax cuts are going to expire, as I've mentioned before, and they want that tax cut. And I guess Trump fools those people who make under $400,000 that it's going to trickle down to you, and it's not. And people be
Thank
deceived.
you, Harry.
Con man.
What do you want?
Harry, remember what I said though. You have to get to people's where people's heads are. Lynette, come on in, Lynette. How are you doing this morning, my dear friend? My dear sister.
I'm great. I'm gonna make this quick. I just want to say that if the U.S. would be so much further along if we all work together. And let me just say, I'm just calling to support KPFT because I've worked for nonprofits for years and I know what it takes. Because if there's no money, and the volunteers are great. So thank you to Jack Howard and you, Egberto. And so I just want to encourage everybody to give whatever you can, dollars, pennies, nickels, quarters, hundreds of dollars. Everything adds up. Again, at the U.S., if we all work together, we can. What is it? The boats lift, all rising boats lift all tides. So
Yes.
no matter which side, our rising tides lift all boats. So no matter what side of the aisle we're on, if we all work together, the U.S., we could all be so much greater together. So thank you so much, and you all have a great day.
Love that,
And I'll
Lynette.
send my
Thank you so
donation in soon.
Thank you for that, Lynette. I love those words. I love those words. That is what I'm talking about. Anyway, folks, 713-526-5738, extension number 1 to support us. I'm still at 0. Yesterday, I stayed at 0 for a long time, and then we got a little set of folks coming in at the end. Please don't do that now. Let's go ahead and go to Brian, but please call 713-526-5738 like right now so I can thank you. I know you're out there, new guys, folks that have never given before. Please make this be your first time. Folks that have given before but haven't given in a while, please let it be now. 713-526-5738, extension number 1. Brother Brian, talk to me.
I can't believe no one has given any donations yet.
Not yet.
This is okay. Well, anybody that's listening, they should. I mean, you don't understand what you've got until you lose it. So,
Brian, I appreciate that.
If anybody's listening, pony up some money. That's all you got to do. Okay. Can anybody see what Biden is doing to your political party and his handlers and how bad things have gotten with his mental capacity? It's shocking, and no one else sees it. Am I the only one?
No, but let me tell you now. I want to spend a minute with you on this one here, Brian. People can put a lot of feelers in our minds to really have us believe that Biden is frailing. The man is not really frailing mentally at all. His body is failing him as any 80-something-year-old person like Trump or otherwise would fail. But as far as his mindset is concerned, don't buy into that, Brian. Listen to him in interviews and listen to how he talks. Okay? Please, please, please. You're a very smart guy. And it doesn't matter how smart you are, however, we can all be cued in from ideology. I can, you can, everyone can. So, I mean, look, if you're a conservative guy, judge him on truly the merits, on conservatism. But we don't have to go to the mental capacity thing or anything like that. Honestly, we don't have to do that. We can actually say, I don't like his policies and why I don't like his policies. I told you before, Brian, I could sit down with you for a cup of coffee and I guarantee you and I would come and agree with on several issues when we don't put the political parties into it. Anyway, close out for me, Brian.
Okay. If anybody's listening, just grab some coins, some change, or something, and give up some money.
Thank you,
donate.
brother.
Oh, yeah,
Brian,
Everybody
I
have a good day.
appreciate you, and you keep calling. Okay, take care. Wow, we got
I
a
will.
great. Thank you, brother. Peace. We got a great thank you for the one and only Jimmy. Let's see if I can say his whole name. Yes, I don't see any restriction. Jimmy Dan, thank you. Thank you so kindly. Okay, I hear you. I hear you. He said we should keep these darn things at 5 minutes. You know what? I agree with you, but we can't unless we get contributions that fulfill the need. Hey, let's pass it on to Sandy. Jimmy, I love you, man. Thank you so kindly for that very kind contribution, my brother. Sandy.
Yeah, thank you, Egberto, and thank you, Jimmy D out of Houston. That really is pretty cool. And your comment about, you don't want to listen to fund drives. Well, quite frankly, Jimmy, I don't want to be here doing this. I could be sleeping. There are a lot of things that we could be doing aside from asking people to give money.
Oh, wait, wait,
Keep in
wait,
mind,
wait. Sandy,
here,
Sandy, Sandy,
wait a
Sandy,
hold on,
Sandy.
Egberto, hold on. Go ahead. It's your show.
No, no, but let me say this, brother. You don't want to be sleeping in my shows. That's what you just told me. You hurt my feelings, man.
I'm sorry. I mean, there's always the archive.
Okay.
When you wake up, you just punch the archive, then you live. So, kidding aside, folks, right? We come here to do radio. We come here to do programming. Myself, I've got a program on Saturday afternoons. Been doing that for 27 plus years. Our forte is the content, the programming. Our passion is getting behind the mic and talking to you, bringing music, bringing whatever it is. Yeah, this would be great if these fund drives were all of 5 minutes. I'd love it. I really would if people would heed the call up, make the contribution. The fund drive is going to run presumably till a week from this coming Sunday. So we got a ways to go. But it can end today when we make our goal. As soon as we make our goal, we're out of here. Okay. It's not like we need the whole time. We will if people don't make the call that you just made, and being very, very generous. It's so appreciated. For
Yes,
those
it
that
is.
cannot make that donation, right? They're just financially not able to, or have another stress that prohibits them from doing it, even if they want to. You just put those people on your back and carry them along a little further here, Jimmy. So thank you for that. Our number 713-526-5738, option 1, or kpft.org. And being the morning hours, if you're like me, you have a cup of coffee in front of you, and you can put that coffee in our brand new 32-ounce stainless steel tumbler. It keeps your hot drinks hot, your cold drinks cold, and it's got the big old KPFT logo emblazoned upon it. You can pick that up for a $120 pledge. Jimmy, thank you very much for getting us started this morning. A very kind, generous act. Hopefully, you guys listening out there will also take that step. 713-526-5738, option 1, or the donate button at kpft.org on your mobile device or desktop. They both work. Egberto.
Yeah, before I want to go to the studio, before I go to the studio, I want to say, Jimmy, give me a call for some coffee sometime. Let's head out and shoot the bull, about what subject we're going to talk about. Anyway, studio, my dear brother Howard and Jack.
I just wanted to chime in here for just a moment and say to Brian, thank you so much, Brian, for everything that you call in for. And see, this is the magic of radio. This is the magic of this particular show. I know that you and Brian go head to head sometimes, but yet he supports this radio station and he supports this show, which is just totally amazing. I talked about it earlier that it's so amazing that this radio station still exists after so long, but this is the reason why. It's a forum for you to express your opinion, whether Egberto agrees with you or not, whether you agree with Egberto or not. The forum is here. So support the forum, give to KPFT. And that's just what I got to say.
Thank you, my brother. I really appreciate that. And I appreciate, oh, wow, we got a couple more here to say a big thank you. Let's see, politics. For when you read the name on here, you should please mention the name as okay, great. I want to give a big thank you to Lynette. Thank you so kindly for your great support. And likewise, I want to thank he doesn't put any restriction on the names. Luis Tijero, muchísimas gracias. Estoy imaginando que puedes hablar el idioma, así que por eso lo estoy hablando. But thank you so kindly, Luis, for your most kind contribution as well. We cannot do this without you. All right. Listen, Jimmy said he wants to hear some content. So, Jimmy, I want to talk. We're at 49 right now. I have another subject that I had planned for today, which is printing money. All right. Whenever we talk about, and I'm going to give a reference. Economist Stephanie Kelton. Please, folks who are listening to me, look up two economists, Stephanie Kelton, as well as economist Richard Wolff. Okay, I hear you. I hear you. Stephanie Kelton, as well as Richard Wolff. All right. The reason I brought Stephanie Kelton is that she is more accepted by the entire economic community. Richard Wolff, not much so, because he considered his he calls himself a Marxist economist. All right, but all of them follow the laws of economics. Now, America has something known as a sovereign currency. What that means is that we print our own money. We have the dollar. The dollar at one time used to be, for every dollar, there was X amount of gold. You probably hear me mention this before. I have no knowledge to why we backed a dollar by gold. It's not like you can take gold and eat it, right? It's not like you can just take gold and give to a merchant and say, hey, here's a piece of gold. Gold is nothing more than just money as well, right? It's just money as well. So whether it is gold or paper, it is only what people think it has value for. That is why, gold is worth something, platinum is worth something, platinum is worth more than gold on a per ounce basis, etc. So the reality is, you don't need, our money right now is backed by nothing more than the faith that you have in it. But what is money? Money is just a transitory instrument used to hold value until you can exchange it for something else. So if you are and I think some of you have heard me make this comparison before. If you make bread, right? And the person who sells a car wants oranges, right? In the world of trading, he couldn't take your bread, a perishable item, and hold on to it to some orange maker who wants bread to exchange those goods for services, etc. So that's why we create money. Money just holds value until you figure out what the hell you want to do with it. So when you want to buy a car, you buy it with money. When you want to buy an orange, you buy it with money. But at the same time, you produce something. You produce labor, right? You are a farmer who grows oranges. You're a farmer who grows yucca. You are a manufacturer that makes cars. And all money does is connect that car to you, connect that orange to you, connect the things that you manufacture to somebody else. So it doesn't really have to be gold or anything. It is just whatever faith you have in it, right? So now, when it comes to things that progressives want to do, we want to build more bridges and have streets that are better repaired, etc. Do we really need to take money out of people as taxes to build those roads? Think about this. You build a bridge, the bridge is an asset. You buy a home, your home is an asset. When you want to build a home, you borrow the money from a bank who then pays for that home, right? And the bank knows it's okay to give you that money, because if they don't have the money that you're going to give them back, they have your home. Isn't that true also with building bridges and building things? So if you build a bridge, right, you can print, the government being the sole maker of that money can build the bridge and convert that bridge to money and money to that bridge, right? That is what Stephanie Kelton and Richard Wolff would try to explain to you when we talk about modern monetary theory. Right now, what do? We either take taxes, right? But also, if we don't want to take enough taxes to get people crazy about you're paying too much, what do? we go ahead and deficit spend. And instead of deficit spending by just printing money to make up for what we don't take in taxes, and by the way, I want to just say taxes are a way to prevent inflated dollars, but we go into that another time because people say, well, that means you could print for anything and the value of the dollar would mean nothing. No, I put in my article, print money responsibly. As long as there are goods and services available, you can print any amount of money as long as there are not shortages. If that farmer is going to have oranges, we print money to have that exchange that so we can create the exchange between product and service, product and product, etc. Remember, I always talk about an economy is a man-made thing, and it can be rethought into something that works better. Whenever we have recessions, I'm gonna get back to money in a minute. Whenever we have recessions, it's not that we need less things and that we have less labor. It is that we lock up the economic system because of money. It's a failure of the economic system to connect labor, products, and products. Labor, products, and products. It's that error within the economic system that creates a problem. Whenever we talk about recession, what changes? Nothing. When we talk about the day before the recession and the day after the recession, nothing changes other than a lockup in a man-made, designed economic system. If we rethought it, if we were not indoctrinated into it, and we use money as a tool and not as a weapon, think about where we could be. So again, whenever somebody tells you we can't afford it as a country, what they're telling you is that a capitalist is unable to figure out a way to maximize and make money from it. So here's what I'm saying. When we have a deficit, we use taxes to control how much the money can grow. In effect, we can tax it out of the economy. When the dollar when we have shortages, etc., we can tax it out of the economy. But until then, we can print. We don't need to borrow the money from rich people, the plutocrats, because what we have now is the plutocrats ask for less taxes. They don't pay their fair share. And when that creates a deficit, we then borrow the money from plutocrats, right? Who then get a sure interest on that money. So it even creates more money to give them. And all of us pay the price for transferring our wealth to those who, again, loan us that money. But here's the biggest kicker. And then they also get laws to ensure that the kind of money that they have is taxed at a lower rate than we pay. I'm also writing a paper on this in layman terms. I don't know when I'm going to get to that one. I have like 2 or 3 of them ahead of this stuff here. But our system is about rethinking what we have been indoctrinated into. All of us have been indoctrinated into this is how things are supposed to work, until you ask the most important question, and that is why? Why and why? And the magical thing is this: we have labor, we have services, and we have products. If we don't have if we don't have the shortage of products and we don't have a shortage of labor, the only thing that can cause increase in prices, inflation, or job loss is a failure of the economic system, not the failure of people, not the failure of anything other than an economic system unable to do its job. And with that, I'm back to some pitching, or if you want to call in about that, 713-526-5738, extension number 2 to talk about that. But however, please go ahead and give us a call. We've got another person to thank here. Let's see what we got here. We've got let's see. Julia, thank you very much for calling in with your contribution. Julia L, thank you so kindly for your contribution. Anyway, folks, give us a call 713-526-5738, extension number 1 to contribute. And we're asking for sustainers right now. So I'm going to pass it right back to El Senor Sandy, or I'll be nice this time, or interim general manager, to take it from here.
Thank you, Egberto. That's very nice of you.
Oh,
Julia, thank
but
you very much.
Sandy, go to Howard
Yes.
first and then Sandy.
I just wanted to tell folks that we're extending Politics Done Right to about 7:15 this morning. Those who are tuning in to hear Democracy Now!, you will hear it. It'll just be a little bit later. And this is KPFT Houston. Go ahead, Sandy.
A little bit as in a few minutes. That's right, because we are in fund drive, and during these periods when we're gathering the money, if we fail on that mission, and I mean all of us together fail on that mission, it's a world of hurt for community radio. So we're going to continue to ask. And I'm asking you, we haven't had a sustaining pledge yet this morning. We've had some really, really generous pledges, including from Julia Lewis. Thank you very much for doing that. That's very kind of you to do that. To Lynette and James, thank you very much. And to Jimmy, who got us started. If you can give up $5 a month, on a sustaining basis, your contribution is going to be nearly double. How does that work? Well, for every new sustaining pledge that we get, we're going to get a $50 match from an anonymous, very generous donor in the Houston area, and another $8 on top of that from members of our local station board. So $58 plus your contribution on a sustaining basis. You do $10 a month, that turns into $178. You do $5 a month, $60, it turns into $118. So we have that incentive out in front of us for people to join in. And good news, Jimmy, I know you're listening. Good news, the more sustainers we get, the fewer fund drive days that we will ultimately have. And we can go on with programming as we do Monday to Friday, Saturday and Sunday. Just let the sphere revolve around, let the diamond revolve around, and all the facets of KPFT will be gleaming in the sunshine. 713-526-5738. I think you got another thank you, Egberto.
Yes, absolutely. I want to thank William N. Can I say the name? Yeah, William Nelson. Look, thank you so kindly for your support, your kind support. We cannot do this without you. And I mean, folks, my
That
heart
could be
bleeds.
Willie Nelson.
I like that. I like that.
Willie Nelson? Yeah, could be. Who knows, right?
Maybe it's Willie
William,
Nelson.
thank you very much for.
Thank you so
Yeah,
kindly
well,
for your.
William is going to be sporting that 32-ounce insulated tumbler, and we appreciate you picking up that thank you gift from KPFT for your very generous donation. We've got a few more minutes to go here. 713-526-5738. Do we have any callers at this point?
We don't have any callers right now, but I wish I had a caller about that money thing that we just talked about, creating money, because I want some pushback. 713-526-5738, extension number 1 to contribute, extension number 2 to donate. 713-526-5738. Hey, look, guys, I want to tell
the full
first.
faith and credit of the United States, printing
Yes.
money, right?
Yes, we are a great. Go ahead, Sandy. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Sandy.
I said we got off the gold standard years ago, and if you think about Bitcoin and other currencies, they're backed by even less. So the full faith and credit of the United States, and hopefully those in Congress will honor the commitment and not play games as we've been seeing. Look, don't play games with KPFT either. Please support our community radio station with your call, 713-526-5738. Option 1 to donate, option 2 to join in the conversation on air. Go ahead, Egberto.
Yeah, absolutely. 713-526-5738. Please, Sandy is right. I'm just looking through, and we don't have anybody that has put a sustainer yet. That's $5 a month, $10 a month, $15 a month. Like I said, I am in addition to doing this program, I am a $10 a month sustainer. And I know Sandy's a sustainer too because I happened to see it pass across my screen yesterday. So, I mean, let me just say, we don't just talk the talk, we walk the walk. We both support the station with the work that we do, but also with whatever we can afford to finance as well. And I can only afford about a $10 a month right now because of the other things that I do as well. But if you can do better, that would be great. If you can only do a little bit less, that would be great as well. But I have no sustainers yet. Can you please be the first sustainer, which is what we're trying to build on as well, so that we can fulfill Jimmy Dunn's dream of not having these darn drives or just holding them to 5 minutes a shot or something like that. Jimmy, you see how much power your voice has, man? We're trying like hell to get enough donors so that we can get off of this every quarter having to do this. So please, we need some sustainers. $5 a month, you won't even feel that. You won't even feel that. You feel when that $100 come out for your cable bill, or that 200 a month come out for your cable bill. You won't feel $5 a month. And like I gave a little narrative yesterday about how good it felt when one starts giving, or how good it feels when one starts giving. So if you've never given before, consider doing it now, whether it's a one-time contribution or it's a becoming a sustainer. If you could do that right now, and we call you out on that by saying, "Hey, he's a new sustainer. I'd love to get some new sustainers right now as well." If you could call us at 713-526 5738, extension number 1. If you can be a $5 sustainer, a $10 sustainer, I'll be very happy. And as we know, all sustainers are being matched by another $58 or so. So think about that. You can do double duty becoming a sustainer right this minute. So if you call 713-526-5738, we can do that. Let's speak to Art. Come on in, Art. How you doing this morning, my brother?
I'm well. Thank you for taking my call. You. Just let me touch on a little history with the U.S. government and debt. Sandy mentioned like we are the gold standard, and since then our debt has gotten worse. Every president, whether it be Republican or Democrat, y'all don't know me by now. I pick on both, or I just call out the truth. From Bush, the war on terror, that screwed us up. After 9/11, weapons of mass destruction, fighter jets, the Sesame Street, they took out a lot of funding from that, and it just got worse. Obama, Trump, and Biden, it just continued with student debts. It just continued to get worse. I believe a lot of it had to do with the continued printing of money, printing of a fiat currency. That's really backed by our confidence in it. And University of Michigan recently put out that the consumer confidence is really low now because the average person in America we're having to pay more for food, gas. We all know this. I don't have to repeat all that, but we know it's a lot tougher out here. It's harder to raise money.
Can I ask you something, Art? Can I ask you something? Because
Sure,
what do you think caused the rise in prices and all of that? What do you think caused that?
Well, to be fair, I'm not blaming one person.
No, I don't. I'm not talking about. I'm not. We are having a non-generic conversation. What do you think caused it? I'd like you to tell me. I really honestly want to know what makes you think what you think caused that problem.
Excessive spending, money we don't have, the printing, I think has a lot to do with it. Budgeting, and a lot of it's on us. One of the things now is we have we have more credit card debt. Well, that's on us to manage.
Okay, let me ask you another question. I got that.
Go ahead.
I don't have much time, so I want to ask you because I really want to query you. Did you hear my spiel on printing money just now? Were
Unfortunately, no. I was at the gym and I had something else going
Oh
on. But
God. Well,
I heard the Monsanto thing. I heard the Monsanto thing, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna call in and put in a plug for RFK. But I thought that printing, that's something that affects all of us right now. We're all hit.
yeah.
You
All
know,
right.
we're
Let me
all
tell you why.
hurting
Because
one
I
way or
wanted
another.
you to listen. Okay. And let me tell you, Art. I want you to listen to. If you can go to the archives and listen to
I
that,
will.
and not
Yeah, as
only
soon as
that,
y'all
but
put it
even
up, I'll listen to it.
yeah, and even also drop me a line that we can have the conversation offline because what I'm trying, the kind of positions that I'm trying to do here, right? People are taking positions based on ideology. Now, I've heard you on you talk before supporting RFK and all of that, and I respect that. I respect that that one is engaged, but I also want to have that communication so that we're not just engaging ideologically, but we're engaging using math, we're engaging using these other things because one of the reasons I want you to listen to the spiel that I did on money, and then later on we can talk about RFK, is so that we can actually be on the same wavelength when we're talking. So, look, I appreciate your call. Anything else you want to say real quickly before I move on?
No, enjoy the weather while it lasts, 'cause it's gonna get hotter. Have a good day.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you, man. Take care. All right. Hey, let me tell you, folks, that was Art. 713-526-5738, extension number 1. Still have not seen our sustainer. Sandy, help me. We don't have a sustainer yet. Is Sandy in?
Yeah, well, I can't do that for you, Egberto. In fact, you can't do that for yourself. We're relying on the listeners to step up and make those donations to KPFT, and this would be a great time to do it. $5 a month sustaining pledge would put a cherry on the sundae here this morning for politics done right because of the generous donations from Jimmy and Louis and Julia and William
Lynette?
and Lynette and James. Thank you very much for making those donations. But one more, a sustaining pledge, $5 or $10 a month would go a long way. We need to get that matching money that's been offered so generously, the $58 for every sustainer that comes on board during this drive. That speaks volumes. It's a very powerful tool by which to fund the station and shorten these drives. So 713-526-5738, option 1, or kpft.org is how you get that done. Click the donate button, tell them you want to be a sustainer, $5 a month. It's quick, it's easy, and you can do that. Also, the concert tickets that we have, they can be acquired if you join as a sustainer. Say we have a pair of tickets for $180. Put down a sustaining pledge of $15 a month. That's a $180 annual pledge, and you can go see the show. You don't have to pay the whole thing as in past fund drives, making it just a little bit easier for us to fund the station and for you to go see a show and get a great thank you gift. The biggest thank you of all is KPFT. There's nothing else like it in town, and there may never be anything like it again if it disappears. 713-526-5738. Egberto, back to you. I'll let you wrap it up and do another thank you, it would appear.
Okay, let's see. Oh, wow. Thank you so kindly. Uh, said, thank you so kindly. Mark Curtis says, I appreciate the KPFT programs and the truthful reporting. You don't know that warms the heart, my brother. That warms the heart. Thank you so kindly. Anyway, I got to get out of here.
Well,
Got to get
okay.
out of here, but before I get out of here, my phone went out. My headphones. Before I get out of here, I want to jump to the studio real quick to see if Jack and Howard has anything to say.
Well, nothing from me. Just we appreciate everyone who is supporting KPFT. Jack, what you got, man?
Got something. They called to thank you for the seed story. So my comment is they're taking away the rights of farmers to save seeds to litigate against the farmer. The question is, are they working to limit the life expectancy of humans to make us sick so they can turn us over to the big health care and the icks to profit off of the diseases they give us?
I would be concerned
Very,
that they're supporting funeral homes.
Prescient, prescient, prescient. Anyway, folks,
Okay,
I
guys.
wanted.
Yeah, we've
Okay,
gone
here's
off
the
the
deal,
rails here.
folks. Anyway, folks, first of all, I want to thank all the donors. Love you all. Thank all the callers. Love you all. Thank all the listeners. Love you all. Let's keep this stuff going. Let's keep this PDR posse going. My name is Egberto Willies. Thank you, Studio, Jack, and Howard. Thank you, El Senor. I am Interim General Manager Sandy. Thank you so kindly for all the work that you all do. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics and Right. And you guys know how I end this baby. I am what? Out. We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead. Number one, subscribe to our channel, and number two, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.